Okay, looks like we are live. And before I continue talking, let's go ahead and put on the slightly different music for this day. Assuming it plays. It's going, it just starts off a little bit soft. As usual, let me know how the audio is, how my volume is compared to the music that's playing. It's gonna give us a not a copyright strike, but they'll be taking the ad revenue for this. Not that I really care too much about that. This is not exactly a video I expect to be making the rounds. Unless I get drunk enough where I say some things I should not. Thank you for joining us and leaving. Hopefully you dropped a like. And now the cat, of course, at this moment decides to be annoying. And we'll slowly let people trickle on in. Furby Slayer, thank you for joining us. So this is going to be... Ooh, can't forget. We do indeed have 2 alcohols joining us. 1 for each person. The first one, get you in front of it. Let's see. Can you see it? There we go. Ming River. Sichuan Baiju, which is Chinese beer, I guess, or in this case, Chinese spirits. Spirits distilled from grain. What's the proof? 45% alcohol by volume. I am not an alcohol guy. I assume that is a latte dough. And the other one on the other side of the aisle. Gotta go this way. Dragon's Milk. Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. This one is none for you. Only 11%. And so, as some of you may or may not know, I am not an alcohol drinker by any means. However, in honor of the 2 people we will be talking about today, that's high for beer. Well, it's spirits of some sort. Let me see. Does it specifically say produced? Okay, imported, crafted. I'm not sure what the specific name of this. It's just says a spirit. Yeah, I see you. Okay, Master Apprentice, 24 generations. A bold yet profound experience. Cascade of flavor in each drop. Hey. Time for you to go. Come on. Time for you to go. No. Had plenty of that, like, twice today. Howdy, Wrestling. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Kitty. Annoying Kitty, who seems to only want attention at the worst possible times. It's never when I'm just sitting down... Wait, no. Once today. Okay. I'll give you that much. Alright, and so, with this alcohol, we'll start it off with 1 nice little shot. Pour that so people can... that's too much. I filled this up straight to the brim. Let me see if I can show without spilling. Careful, your cats will steal your booze. Yeah, they will. First shot up. I hate alcohol. Why do people drink this shit? It's like my tongue's being raped. What's wrong with all of you? Wash that out. Yeah, as the previous 2 days have shown me, 3 shots, and this was basically 2 shots I just took, but 3 shots gets me in that nice little drunk stage. So we'll see what happens if this goes on. But like I was saying before the cat's interrupted, little shit, wherever you ran off to, I do not normally drink. And so in this case... Shot, thank you. I'm not going to be taking shots for just $5. No, you guys... Every $1,000, I'll do it like that. So I don't get wasted, because I might just start bawling my eyes out at this stream. Every $1,000, I guess, if we want to be fair. I'll take another shot. Go ahead, start paying the Teaman. I don't normally drink, but there are two people in my life who really wanted to have a drink with me. And I never got that opportunity. And so, one of them passed away on September 9th, the other one on September 11th. And so every 9th, 10th, and 11th, I treat those 3 days as something of a holiday for me. I don't know if holiday is the right word. A ceremony in celebration and mourning. Tempted, but I'm buying a house. Why would you buy a house when I need to buy a house? Give me the money to buy. Well, no, I'm not going to buy a house, and not until things get better. But that's not what this stream is about. Stop distracting me, young man. So, today's stream will cover some of the background of the Teaman that might just give you an idea of where I come from with a lot of things that I do and say, and why I take certain things extremely seriously that some people might view as just nothing, unimportant. So, I don't want this stream to be like 5 hours, so I'm gonna give a long story short of this first part. This might come as a complete another shock to some of you, but the Teaman did not used to be as cool as I am right now. No. In fact, when I was younger, I think it's safe to say I was quite the loser, let's just say. And not even like the loser with a heart of gold, just a little shit and the loser. Blame a lot of it on the parents, to be honest. I became incredibly fat at like 7, 8, 9 years old. Not too many friends. Just all the stereotypes you can think of. And all the while, I was not exactly a nice person myself. There was nothing good about me. And one day, because of reasons, I decided to change that. I decided I want to at least try to change that. Inspired by the good old anime that I always say you should use as inspiration because, well, that's the story that happened with me. And so, I began the attempts to change myself. And boy, was it humiliating. To give you an idea of just how unhealthy and, I don't know what the right word is, unpolished my body was, I would struggle to hold my balance while holding onto a wall. So if you can imagine that, somebody hanging onto a wall and still losing their balance, that is how uncoordinated I was. Part of the beginnings of the training was tossing a ball up. I'll grab this. Pretend this is a ball. Tossing up a ball and catching it with the same hand. Because I was so uncoordinated, even that was difficult. It was not a good place for me, to say the least. But, over time, things began to change. I began to get stronger, faster, even smaller now that I have oxygen going to my brain. And I began to improve myself. And the feeling was exhilarating. And it's the origins of my love and obsession of seeing other people become better versions of themselves. Because I know the feeling that it generates. And it is a feeling that I still seek within myself. It's one of the reasons I became a personal trainer. Throughout my life, and because of this experience, I started to get a feeling of, and it's one of those philosophies that people write volumes on, so trying to describe it in just a couple of sentences is just not going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway. I started to have a feel of wanting to experience true, authentic things. Because in elementary school, junior high, high school, people would say a lot of things about how things should be. Then you discover they're all kind of full of shit. And so you get this certain type of craving for what's real and what's genuine. And one of the things I have honestly always loved since as far back as I can remember is the art of fighting. You know, when I was a wee lad watching little animes at like 2-3 years old, seeing the combat that goes on there. Growing up, when I came to America, DBZ, and all the martial arts that went through that, it was something that made me... It captivated me in ways that very few things ever could. And so one of the things I sought was that genuine experience of martial arts. I never wanted to do tournaments. I never wanted to do combat sports. I wanted the real deal. Something that was meant to be used in situations where there are no rules. Only the most intense training allowed. People can help me push myself to even further heights. And let me tell you, it again, it's just one of those things where only when you can experience can you truly understand it. And a lot of my training became not an issue, not a case. It became one of those things where I wanted to see how far I can push myself. I wanted to see what new lengths I could have gone. Can I hold this stance for a little bit longer? Can I throw a few more punches? Can I lift a little bit more weight? Whatever it might be. The cat's been ignoring Troy all this time until just now. I hope you guys cannot hear that. And so the art of constantly bettering yourself and taking yourself to new heights became a very healthy, I would say, obsession of mine. So I began looking for the dojo, and it took me about 6 months until I found the style in the dojo that sat right with me. And I feel like I struck gold with the dojo I found. And the very head of the organization that I joined was a man by the name of Teruo Chinen. Chinen Sensei. Let me make sure. So I got me a couple of little notes here and there to make sure that I'm all set. Okay, good. So I joined this dojo, and it filled that itch I didn't think I would ever be able to fill. But Chinen Sensei lives over in Spokane, Washington, so I trained with my sensei over in Chicago, Sensei Merk Marciniak, who, like I mentioned before, I did not exactly have a happy lifestyle growing up. Possibly the first father figure I would have had. I want to see him twice a week. But the way he was able to teach, the way he was able to make me learn, the way he was able to shape me and mold me and speak to me in a way that I understood, which is in itself is kind of a rarity. So I've already been through elementary, middle school, a little bit of high school. All I would see is shit teachers everywhere. I didn't even know like non-shit teachers existed. And he helped better me and helped me shape my own path. And the head of his organization, like I mentioned, was Teruo Chinen Sensei. The first time I met Chinen Sensei was at a seminar up in Chicago. I didn't know what to expect. I heard stories, lots of stories, but I did not know if any of them really meant a thing. Because everyone always says a lot of things. And by nature, I am quite skeptical of people. So he shows up, and I see this tiny little 5'1" Asian, old, walk through the door. You know, he's bowing, nice and happy, and all this other type of generic stuff. When it's like, "Hello, Sensei," and of course, even if I have my skepticism, I understand. Hey, this is somebody I should probably care about. So I also showed my respect. And then the training and the teaching began. It was an experience, to say the least. It was Saturday and Sunday. Saturday lasted 8-9 hours, and then Sunday was just the morning, like 4 or 5 hours. But in that, I got to see the way this man taught, and was my next introduction or experience into people who are able to teach in different ways. He began to instill in me the concept of teaching other people, and just how important your techniques of teaching are. It was something I never experienced, the way he was able to explain stuff with his broken English. Because when he came to this country, he did not speak much English. Maybe I should give some backgrounds of Chinen Sensei to give you an idea of just what kind of monster we're dealing with. He was a man after my own heart in that he dedicated his all to martial arts and the style we practiced, Dojuru. Full on dedication, to the point where he came to this country in 1969 planning to stay for only 4 months. I just realized, 1 second, I forgot to do something. Give me 1 moment. Because I have all these nice little pictures and whatnot brought up, but I didn't bring up the Garden Dojo pictures to show it off. That's obviously not it. While I go ahead and look, how are you doing, chat? Let me know what you guys are thinking so far. Garden Dojo. Oh wait, wasn't it images that I found the last time? I don't even remember. Let's see, images. Nope. This is gonna drive me insane. There's the pictures I pulled up last time. And I have other pictures here and there, but I just want the try this. Maybe all Garden Dojo. That's not it. I will find it. Do not worry. Maybe if I take out the Zillow part. Garden Zone, that's not it. I can't believe out of all the things that I could have done, I could have forgotten. I forgot to bring up pictures of the Garden Dojo. Spokane, Washington, Garden Dojo. Same as well. That's what I typed in last time. I thought I bookmarked it. It's not in my bookmarks. Unless bookmarks. Stay in the pouches. No. Oh, I can't believe that I ended up not saving it. Alright. So we came to this country in 1969, planning to only stay for about 4 months. That's it. Just 4 months. But he saw that the karate in this country was so bad, so lacking, that he could not, in good conscience, leave it as it is. So first he extended the stay from 4 months to 6 months. And then afterwards, he decided, nope, I am now going to live here. He did not speak any English. He spoke very, very little English. But he said, because of my love of karate and what the level of karate is in this country right now, I cannot just leave. So he stayed. The reason why I want to pull up the Garden Dojo is because when you see it, when you see what it was and what it became, you will be amazed. It almost doesn't even make sense. He bought what was essentially a flat piece of land, and he ended up building an entire. Well, he also had a home in it, but he tore down the shitty home, and he ended up building an entire garden dojo. 2-story home, another dojo just outside of it. I cannot believe. Sorry, I've been reminiscing. And so I kind of ended up losing myself. Anyway. Can you imagine somebody doing that? Somebody having a love for something so much that they visit a country which they don't even speak the native language for. And they see that the state of this thing that I love is so bad in this massive country that I'm just going to move here. This is now my home. I'll figure out the whole language thing as I go along, but we got to get to work. That is the type of man he was, and the type of love and dedication he had for karate. And so for martial arts, that is also the type of love and dedication that I had. My only concern is that, he was already training for many years and was, by probably many people's accounts, a master even by that point. For me, I don't think I ever hit that level. But he was able to begin his life. And one of the books, which I actually have some copies of because there's some things. Two main books that he had. It's 40 Years of Chamber, and we'll talk about what that means later. And Okinawan Goju-Ryu Karate, and there he is, the tiny man Teruo Chinen. His rents way back in the 1970s. He basically had, it wasn't a broom closet, he slept in a place that was in the same place like how a restaurant freezer was set up, and that's where he slept. Was not very comfortable. Cost $60 a month. He originally was charging $10 a month for his dojo, but only like 5, occasionally 6 people would be signing up. So it wasn't enough to cover the rent. I can't remember all details. He talked about raising it up to $15 an hour, but then some students did not like that. But then other issues came up from that, and that's when he realized, okay, the only way this is going to work, this becomes a dictatorship. And I am the one in charge. The price is $15. And it all began to work out. What he did, when he had his first sum of money that was not going towards necessities, is he bought a wooden board, he bought a hammer and chisel, and he hammered out either Jundokan karate or Goju. Now, at this point, it would have been just Goju-Ryu karate, or maybe traditional karate. Just carved it out on a wooden board and put it in front of the place he was staying at. And that was his advertisement. And he still had that board up until the day he died. He didn't just spend his time in America. He traveled all across the country teaching karate, also going up to Canada teaching it, also going to various places in Europe, South Africa, went back to Japan and China, and Okinawa. And so he was spreading it all over the place. And he was not doing it for the money. We'll cover some of the costs, some of the stuff, and you'll see it was now for the fucking money. There was at one point in his training, to give you another idea of his unrelenting pursuit in the martial arts, that I am sure there's going to be several people listening live, watching the VOD, who will have no frame of reference to even understand this. Once, when he was training, he threw a kick at somebody, and his pinky toe got caught in the person's gi, the uniform. And when he pulled back, most of the toe was ripped off. It was hanging by some skin. And when he went to the hospital and talked to the doctors, whatever year this was, they told him that we could reattach it. It will be a really lengthy process. Lots of recovery time. Got to get all the nerves working again. We know might have some complications, and just on and on and on. And during this, he asked, "What if you just cut it off?" Well, it will actually heal quicker and you can get back to training faster, but you'll be missing a toe. Lop it off! And that's how he lost his pinky toe. Reattaching the pinky toe would have gotten in the way of his training. And so he cut off his pinky toe. Granted, it was mostly off already, but you get the idea. You get the overall feeling. Let's go ahead and take another shot for that one. Considerably smaller shot this time. Also because it's 5:30. All you alcohol lovers disgust me! Oi. Let me see what else we got. Should cover his past. That'll be a little bit later. Head up to the nicknames for me. Mountain Side. Oh, yeah. This came a little bit later, but this ties in with the toe story. So as it turns out, he also had an unfortunate case of diabetes. If memory serves, it was the type you were born with. Never found out until the 90s. At some point after I began training, he got a really bad illness and infection. And he was put on what some people thought might have been even his deathbed, because at this point he was old. Rosalind, thank you for $5, baby shot. Yes. No, it's something. Because I also got all of this. Still got his drink today as well. Yeah, dragon's milk. And even during this time, he never relented on being sensei. He never stopped being the head of Judokan International. The entire time, he expected people to have proper poise, proper attire, proper manner of speech. Just because he was dying doesn't change anything. But he ended up surviving, but they did have to amputate his foot from the knee down because of an infection or something along those lines. And so he basically lost his leg. So up to this point, from everything you've heard, how do you think Chinen Sensei took it? Get get me another. And so they got him a prosthetic. Shouldn't we be drinking crappy sake? No. If I'm gonna drink, I'm not gonna be taking the crappy stuff. And Dragon's Milk has more symbolic meaning than anything. So yeah, he just asked for a prosthetic and he just went right back to being a sensei. Losing a goddamn leg did not slow him down. It's probably one of the no, because this happened after 2012, I think. Or maybe not. What year did he lose his leg? I can't remember. It was very reminiscent of when I was told I was never going to use my right arm again. We'll probably get you that eventually. So this is the type of person he was. Pure dedication, pure focus. An unbelievable, amazing person. Furby Slayer, thank you for the $5. It's a Shiba dog and doing some karate. Good for him. Thank you so much for that. Making sure my focus is staying. So he does something every year on the third week of July called the Grand Goshuku, which is like his Super Bowl, his WrestleMania of training. People from all around the globe come and train under him. I do mean all around the globe. 6 days, Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday we all get to go home, battered and beaten. I was 16 at this point, and I've been thoroughly warned about the intensity of the Grand Goshuku. But I've been through Chinen Sensei's seminars before. It's nothing new, I can handle it. It'll be intense, but my fighting spirit will not be broken. I am not one to be defeated by mere training. Drinking some Crystal Skin Maicha, which will be obvious why as we go on. And then I go to the Grand Goshuku, which in itself was a bit of a journey just to get there. Because again, I had terrible parents like you would not believe growing up. And they didn't want to let me go because, you know, I don't fucking know. What if I get lost in the middle of the sky while the plane is going? Some bullshit. Doesn't matter anymore. But I go there. It's the first time since I was like 6 years old that I ever left the state. First thing we do is get you to the hotel. And I am just, my mind is racing. Thinking about anime. And like, what kind of anime-like scenarios are we going to see in this? You know, what kind of cool things are we going to experience? Am I going to power up? Will this be my Super Saiyan moment? All the things a 16-year-old dreams of when he enters a path that he wants to follow. I remember there was many moments. There was one moment where I got on an elevator, and I was on the third floor, probably, something like that. But I go from the first to the second, and it opens up, and these two massive behemoth of men are standing there when it opens up. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like it's straight out of an anime scene. You know, the two opponents you'll be facing later on appear in this chance encounter. And I forget what it was. Probably just the size of these men. I think I asked them, are you guys here for the Grand Goshuku? And sure enough, they were. So we go up, we get all nice and situated. And the first year, it was me, Sensei, and 3 other people from the dojo who went. Oh my god, it was so... Anyway. And so we go to Chinen Sensei's garden dojo. You know what? Give me one moment. This is... I can't do this without the damn pictures. Didn't I... I must have saved it somewhere. Hold on. Go to my save things folder. Nope. You know what? 1 second. Be right back, everybody. Be right back. Might have given me a clue on how to properly find it. Wrestling for the $3. We have, what was that, chicken? A chicken doing karate. Good for you. Go nope, here. Spokane. Oops. Spokane, Washington. Let's see. Zillow. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Pardon? Okay, no, it's not on the market. Closest I could get a big guy getting in an elevator. Not that. Because I have pictures of the place printed out. I was hoping that somewhere in the pictures would be some kind of a hint. It makes no sense. I could have sworn that I saved it in the bookmarks. I can't believe it's not here. Right. I will find it. I promise I will find it. This old garden. It's obviously not it. Yeah, I know this is making for some riveting television or whatever. Zillow. The home. Maybe one of these things will have an address. Oh, there we go. I found it. I found it, everybody. Hooray! Sorry for the wait. And now, fucking bookmark. Folded bookmarks. There it is. Okay, now I know it's bookmarked, so I don't want to... I'm hoping the future does not give me any type of nonsense saying it's not. Bring it right over here. Let's pull up the pictures. Can I get one of the garden first? No. This place doesn't have the full set of pictures, but so be it. Doesn't matter. So, I go to this place. Pull up this. Show on stream. And I'm trying my best to live what might be known as a moral and spiritual life over where I am. The success rate could be debated, but I'm still trying to chase that feeling where something in the back of my mind where I know what I'm looking for, but I don't really know what I'm looking for. And then I go, sorry, this fucking camera. And then I go and I see the gates. Oh, wait, right here. The gates of the Garden Dojo. I was told the story before coming to this place. Nope. Bad cats, go away. I was told the story before coming to this place of Chinen Sensei buying... Let's drink some tea. buying a piece of land that was basically just flat with a home that he tore down, and he built up his own garden dojo. And at the time, I did not know what garden dojo even meant. They said he built it all. So I'm not expecting much. And then I go here. I'm explained that all that you're seeing here, the tree, the gate, the stones, the wood around the stones, none of it existed until he built it. And then we go inside, and I get to look around at all the different little places. So this is the home that he built. This is something like a hangout place. This is the indoor dojo. So something's ever raining. His own personal dojo. And as you can kind of see, the work is never done. He's been building it since 1969. I believe this was a sauna room, if memory serves. Alright, nope, time to go. Time to go. Time to go. Let's go. No more trying to be cute. Cats have the worst timing. So he built this door. I think this might be just a sauna room or maybe an office. I'm not even sure. I only spent a very small amount of time inside. You can see all of the wood. Building the kitchen. Oop, go back one. And this is inside the garden dojo. I got to do a little bit of practice here, just a little bit. But the main point of all of this ramblings is that walking through this place, there's a certain feeling that you got. The feeling that you can't really put into words. And only when you really speak to somebody who gets it, you will get that communication where you do not need to speak any words. You will just look at each other and you will know what it is that you are referring to. What that feeling is that's indescribable. But you know exactly what it is. And that is what I felt. This doesn't cover a lot. There's another section of the home in which there was like a little outdoor bar that he set up. There was another underground place where, do you know the the big fence post thing that had wooden arms sticking out, and you see people practicing all the other stuff, blocking and moving around. I forgot its name. Yeah, I one of those set up. He showed me a couple of things to do with it. If I still have that picture, I'll bring it up because you don't believe how skinny I was for some reason during that time. And it was being in this place that many things in my path and my desires became clear. Even if I couldn't put into better words, something in me clicked. This is the feeling I have been seeking. There's a multitude of reasons I started martial arts. Some good, some bad, but they've evolved over time. But just seeing this place and being in it, feeling it, it's something that changed me. And if that's not a sign of a spiritual place, I don't know what else you want. Now you might recognize why I chose this music. Hopefully you guys can hear. I'm going to turn up a little bit. Just a wee bit. And so with that, the training for my very first Gashuku began the next day. And I was not prepared. There is no preparing for a Grand Gashuku. You go and you pray that you survive. especially when you were young like me at 16. If you're an older person, Sensei understands, and he won't push you to the point where you break. But if you are young and a novice, at this point I was still a white belt. At this point. And so those are the two things which Sensei really tries to instill many core concepts into you. Because you're fresh, you're new, you have not learned the bad habits yet. It's easier to teach good habits to a new person than undo old habits for a bad person. The very first day, after 4 hours, 4 fucking hours of some really, really intense training, we got our first break. It wasn't 4 hours and we were done with training. It was 4 hours, then we get a 10-minute water break. I still remember myself chucking down like half a gallon of Gatorade and just laying on the ground, just exhausted, feeling like I'm going to die. And my sensei comes up. He's like, "You doing okay?" Welcome to Gashuku. And just, I was not prepared. That was not the only Gashuku I did. But over the years, all of them were kind of blended together. So the story is going to be jumping all over the place. I remember there was a moment in which we were training and I was obviously exhausted and I was getting sloppy. And Chinen Sensei saw that. So he went up to me and told me to tighten my stomach. And he threw what looked like kind of like a casual punch to my guts. But this tiny little man, tiny little 5'1" Asian, who did not have a giant muscular build, the amount of power he was able to generate in that single punch from his position, being also casual about it, not hitting my solar plexus, just hitting the gut, and the way he was able to take the wind out of me. Well, here I am, what now, 17 years later, and I still remember it? Fuck. That's how memorable it was. It's not something you really experience all that often. You don't really have the words to explain it. But boy, did it hurt. You know, I kept being warned over and over again about how Kashuku breaks you. It'll break your mind, it'll break your body, it'll break your spirit. You know, but I'm 16. What do these old men know? You can't break me. And I remember distinctly, vividly. By Wednesday, we still had the rest of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to go. But by Wednesday, I was saying in my mind, I fucking hate it! I don't want to do this anymore! I hate karate! I hate the martial arts! I hate what we're doing! I wanted to stop! I just wanted to stop! And then I kept going for another 3-4 days. That's how intense it was. I guess one of the ways you know that I truly loved the martial arts and all that it was bringing to me was that after we got back from that feeling of I hope I never have to throw another punch again for the rest of my life, in less than a week from the first Gashuku I went to, looking forward to doing more training. It's one of the ways you know you love something just for that something. And over time, I began to develop certain feelings and ideas that might be foreign to the current culture, but I wanted to give my all to the martial arts, not just for what it can give to me, but I wanted to give back. I wanted to give all that I had back to the martial arts and help grow and expand it to new levels. Introduce it to new people. Let them experience what I am experiencing. Something that existed that was bigger than me, beyond me. I don't know if people can even understand such a concept at this point. I'm not talking about my child or something. I'm talking about, some good old-fashioned karate. I know that one of the things over here that kind of drove me mad was I wanted to take this thing seriously. I wanted it to be a lifelong pursuit. I wanted it to be everything that I made myself from. The clay that molded the Teaman. To dedicate my all, like Chinen Sensei did. But I was alone in that. I was very, very alone in that. There aren't many people who do martial arts with the same passion as me. Outside of my sensei, I don't think there was ever another person who came to the dojo who had that type of mindset. Some people just did it as exercise. Some people did it because they didn't have a love for martial arts, but no one reached my extent. I didn't have anyone I could really share these feelings with. I didn't have anybody who would understand when I tried to speak with them. Eventually, I found a friend who might be watching right now, John, if he's listening, who I was able to, at least at some level, confide in him about these things. There was the first year I went. I remember the statistic: 60 hours in 6 days. We did over 60 hours of training in those 6 days. Technically 5.5 days, because Saturday was a half day, and then the second half we went to a banquet where we celebrated our suffering. The first... what time was it? I remember we did 14 hours the first day. 14 fucking hours. Jesus Christ. But it's one of those things where when you say it out loud, it does not really seem like it's something... My apologies, I don't have the chats. Yeah, Brastel, and I have noticed that it is indeed dead over in Rumble. If anybody is over on Rumble, feel free to say something in the comments so I know you're there. Right now all the chat is happening over in the YouTubes. But one of the things that Gashuku did is it gave you a certain concept of the impossible, because when you say this stuff out loud, I can go away. When you say this stuff out loud, it doesn't seem like somebody should be able to do it. Especially not people who are lifetime training round the clock type of martial artists like I was aspiring to be. But people did it. And it's one of those things that it shows you how far. You're also over on YouTube. Don't try and play those games. Annex, Analog Drift, C3 bullshit. But yeah, it just gives you an idea of what human beings are capable of. But boy, let me tell you, I was in some massive amounts of pain after that first year. It took a while for me to heal. My legs were just... By Wednesday, I could not properly walk. Everything was this weird limp thing I was doing because my muscles could not hold me up. I was like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Oh my god. You know, there's a funny little thing with I got a couple of funny little stories pulled up here. Hold on. Time for another shot. This will be the last shot before we move on to the dragon's milk. To Chinen Sensei, the Grand Goshiku, and everything he has taught me. I try my best to hold a straight face, but kind of lost it at the end. So some fun little stories. One of the things my sensei drilled into me and all the other students who were coming is, don't ask stupid questions. Because Chinen Sensei hates when people ask stupid American questions. Have a guess at where this is going. So we are at the Garden Dojo. There's a little patio that, again, don't have a picture of. This place was bigger than the pictures made it out to be. And so we're all talking. He's telling some stories. We're telling some stories. I'm keeping my mouth shut and just basking in the glow of this magnificent place that I wish to one day have something like that of my own. But that's if I start talking about that, you guys are gonna get depressed as fuck, because there's stories behind that. But anyway, so as we're chit-chatting about all these various things, and I'm keeping my mouth shut and just taking everything in, again, I want to dedicate my entire life to the martial arts. I want to spend every waking moment training, and if I'm not training, I'm thinking about training, and just always taking things to the next level. And so, at some point, there is a quiet that comes after Sensei finishes telling a story. And me, being the 16-year-old, kind of losing my place and losing my thoughts in all of this, I just go, Sensei, how much do you train? And just the look of sheer dread and not disappointment, but just, oh god, no, on my sensei's face was magnificent. But sensei didn't yell or punish us for speaking out loud or anything like that. He answered the question as best he could. I'm pretty sure he saw in me that type of desire, that type of drive, that type of something that you can only see eye to eye with another person. You don't need to exchange words. So he probably knew at some level that this was the path I wanted to walk. He had several nicknames for me. So one of the things that happened is, after every seminar, whether it would be Rankoshuku or the Chicago seminars or somewhere else, we would go out to eat with Sensei. And one of the things that people noticed is that for myself, I would order like this massive amount of food. And after I finish my massive amount of food, when other people will finish their food and have leftovers, ooh, can I have some of that? Can I have some of that? Ooh, that looks good. And I would just eat everything that was left. And just everybody was amazed at how much I could engorge myself with. So one of the things I ordered, and I didn't notice at the time, is I ordered a sushi boat, which was originally meant for like 4 people. It would be this like giant boat they would bring out for multiple people to eat the sushi out of it. And I finished the whole damn thing while still eating other people's food. And so Chinen Sensei gave me the nickname Maguro-sen. Translates to tuna boat. Because of the boat that was brought out and all of the food I would eat. Oh man. Another nickname he got for me. So I train a lot. I train hard. Train harder than most. And fun little fact, training makes you sweat. And so my gi would get sweaty. When things get sweaty, they sometimes start to get a little bit of a yellowish tint to it. And around like the back of the neck of my gi, I'm pretty sure the rest of it as well, you begin to see that yellowish tint to it. Disgusting, I know, but I wore it as a badge of honor. And so Sensei gave me the nickname Big Bird. Because, I'm 6'3", so I'm taller than most people, and I got this giant little schnoz on me. You guys can see. And so I got the nickname Big Bird. And that nickname stuck. So he would occasionally call people up to do demonstrations and whatnot. And so for me it'd be Maguro-san, Big Bird. Occasionally it would be my actual name, but usually it'd be, Big Bird, come here. Maguro-san, demonstrate Geiki Saraichi. And so I would. One of those interesting things, because even to this day, as you guys know, and I guess the alcohol is kind of loosening this up a little bit, but anytime I would begin to speak in these things, I would hesitate, I would stop, I would get nervous. All I can see is this fucking dick in my face. And I would almost never be able to really speak as myself. Granted, part of it is also trying to clean up our language so I don't get kicked off of the YouTubes. But in karate, in martial arts, when I would get called up to do a demonstration, I wouldn't get nervous. If anything, I would get excited. I would get excited because I would have an opportunity to be able to show people. Sorry about that. Something about the camera is slightly tilted. It's bothering me. But I would go up there and I would be able to showcase whatever it is I'm showcasing with a sense of pride. And it's a type of pride I have not been able to replicate anywhere else. Sometimes I would mess up. That's kind of a given, but overall it would be a good thing. So, fun story time. So right now I'm making Sensei out to be this real big hard ass that never cracks a smile, never jokes, never does anything of the sort. But his humor was some of the driest you would ever find. You would never be able to tell he was really making a joke if you just listened to the tone of voice. But he does like his occasional joke. So he has this dog named Bancho. Big, giant, fluffy beard of a dog. And so one day, when we're all resting, he would occasionally let us rest. It happens. He had us all just lay down and either think about what we were doing or maybe even take a nap. Because sometimes even that happened. Which would also be kind of horrible because he would train us to be able to be ready for combat in the middle of a nap and get ready and just start doing kata. So imagine you just kind of sleeping and you hear Sensei just shout, "Line up!" And so you'd all have to just get right up and just be ready for action. After just being in a deep sleep. Fuck me. But one day when we're doing this, Sensei picks up his phone. Back in the day when some phones had codes to them, so everyone would hear to pick up. And he would pick up, it's like, hello? Oh, hello, Bancho. Which we all knew was the name of his dog. And you hear a couple of snickers, but people need to try and control themselves because everyone burst out laughing. We're all doing push-ups. Maybe that was his goal. That was his goal, to make us all train. To pick up the phone. Hello, Bancho. What? No, that's my beer. Stay out of the fridge, Bancho. That's my beer. You're a dog. You can't drink it. No, I understand. Don't drink my beer. I'll get you some dog treats. Okay, goodbye, Bancho. And this, especially with this one, I could see inside the office when he was making the phone call as well. He did not smile. He did not laugh. Like, his face was just as straight can be while doing this. It's just the type of guy he was. He'd also have a lot of fun. Like I mentioned before, he loves new people, the white belts and the green belts. One of the things he did one time was he took all the whites and the green belts out for ice cream. And so while all of the brown and black belts, because we only had 4 colors, white, green, brown, black, that's it. All the brown and black belts would continue the training. He gathered up all the green belts, all the white belts, and took us out for ice cream. It would still be hellacious training. Because even though we were going out for ice cream, we could not break character. We still had to be karateka. Don't relax, don't get all loosey-goosey. You can have some sense of jovialness, but you were still in training. We still got to go for ice cream. That was nice. That was fun. Ice cream with Chinen, Sensei. Oh my god, this has gone on for an hour and 10 minutes already. I thought we'd be 30 minutes by the time. Alright. Look around here. I covered the elevator, ice cream, punch. Hate it all. I covered that. Current balance. I got all that. Right. Oh, actually, wait a minute. There was a couple of other things. And some more pictures as well. There's one picture in particular I couldn't find online, but there we go. Let me pull up things so I can see just some of the training that Chinen Sensei did. I love this. I don't know how the hell he did it. I don't care. Yeah, he's small, sure, but that's an intense exercise. He's hanging by his toes and doing sit-ups. His attitude for martial arts could be felt in a lot of ways. He spoke out. Some of you might have seen, which video was it that I talked about it? The video where I started out talking about martial arts. Oh yeah. Why modern stories suck and why they need to be good. Remember how I started talking about martial arts and how they kind of lost the path along the way? Sensei felt the same thing because he spoke out against sport fighting. He said karate is not about sport fighting. It's about self-defense. It's about fighting and killing your opponent if it comes to that point. And sport karate ruins the mind for such a situation. Takes away the seriousness of it. And I gave more detail of how people's bodies and fighting styles and techniques shaped to fit the sport as opposed to the reality of it. He was against it. He was not a man after money. The Grand Gashuku, it cost like $275 for 6 whole days, including the banquet. Think about that. That's how little he charged for a whole week of a seminar. There's some fitness gurus at this point who charge that much for like an hour for a group training course, but they never even make eye contact with you. It was not about the money for him. It was about the soul of the martial arts. The soul that I don't feel I can even speak with people about in this day and age. Even back then, I couldn't speak with anyone about it, but now it's so much worse. This feeling of loneliness that comes from this, not being able to talk to anyone about it. Again, I don't have the words. It's not a matter of alcohol. It's not a matter of loosening my tongue. My tongue can get so loose that I can describe it to people. And I've never had a child, so it'd be stupid of me to try and communicate what it's like to lose a child. It's kind of like that. 1 second. So I did that. Pull up some more pictures. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Some more photo galleries. Here's Sensei doing one of the katas. Got a nice little makiwara. I got a story to tell after this that reminded me of it. Here's him doing another exercise right here, wrapping his legs around a tree and doing sit-ups. I'm going to cover every single little picture because there's a lot of pictures, just a couple of ones that stand out. Another kind of a makeshift makiwara. Training in the seminar. The very first Kashuku he did in 1964. What's funny is that when he held the first Kashuku, nobody actually showed up, it was just him. And he got so mad, he went to every single person's house and physically dragged them to the location before he began the training. Here's him making everyone, including the kids, make a human pyramid. What was fun is that every Tuesday and Thursday at around 7, he also had a kids class he had to teach. And so usually we would hold off in the back while he trained the kids and we would watch. And just seeing the way he trained the kids. It's a type of energy people keep saying they want back. But Chinen Sensei was that, and I don't feel like most people would even understand. Here's him running barefoot in, what was this? Annual Bloomsday race, a 10K race, barefoot, 1996. And he always talked about being barefoot, running up and down stairs in winter. This is just classic martial arts. Again, he built his damn thing from scratch. So here is him cutting wood for construction for his home, 1989, Spokane, Washington. Here's him doing the peacock push-up. This was 1993. Him giving some kids some watermelon from his garden. Sensei loved old cars for some reason. His garage was full of old cars. I don't know why. Here's him doing... Well, getting ready to do, what would it call, like the sideways dragonflies? I don't even remember. These were just some of the pictures. So he was a man after my own heart before I even knew a man like him existed. Martial arts were not for sport. They were not for fun and games. They were, as the internet kids say, serious business. You were supposed to take them seriously. And I really took it seriously, like you would not believe. And so he died September 9th, 2015. Oh, wait. It's another funny story, more going into the Teaman's past, to show how some of these things might have rubbed off. And I think 2007 or 2008, my area got hit with a really bad storm. What were they called? Microbursts, I think. Just really strong pockets of wind that tore trees from the roots and demolished houses and did all of this horrible stuff. One of the things that happened was there was a pole, electric pole that fell, and they cut it into bits, and they left the bottom bit. So this might not come as a shock, but the pole that you see sticking out of the ground, it's thinner than the one under the ground. Underground, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. For some reason, they left this giant pole. At this point, was almost 6 feet high. No, okay, I'm 6'3". It was just under my chin, so between 5'10" and 6 feet. Let's not. Yes, the log, and you would always have to call it the log in all capital letters. Before I continue with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start drinking this here dragon's milk. This is more under of crystal, which we'll get into after this. Only a little bit of this stuff left. I fucking hate all of you. All of you who drink this stuff. I don't look quite drunk enough yet. I've taken essentially 4 shots of this 45% alcohol thing, and now I'm drinking this, which is 11%. So I'm working on it. So this log, called the log, is just sitting on the side of the road, and me and my best friend John will go for walks down Cottonwood Lane, which is memories in and of itself. And we would always pass by this log for months. Nobody would come pick it up, and it was such kind of like bug me, like, why is this here? So one day as we're walking at like 11 p.m., 12 a.m. in the middle of the fucking night, I say to him, you know, if we walk by this thing one more time and it's still here, I'm taking it home. I'm gonna find out how to turn it into a training tool. My friend Jan goes, okay. And because I didn't think what I said through, so we walk it to one end and we walk back, and sure enough, in the span of the last 20 minutes or whatever it was, it's still there. In the middle of the night. Who the fuck could have seen that coming? But me, I had to go, alright, taking this home. This thing was heavy. I'm drinking tea with a shotgun for solidarity. Oh, God. Just gotta take sips. Oh, I'm gonna finish Crystal Skin Mice before I get to Crystal. And so what I do, so pretend this is the log. This is sound kind of Stand By Me-ish. I don't know what that means, Stand By Me-ish. And so I start rolling it towards my home in this direction. John, either knowing me too well or just losing his thought process, says, you know, I'm surprised you're not rolling it the other way for training. Oh no. Whoa! Doof! Whoa! Doof! So I start rolling this thing the long way. And again, this thing is like, I don't know, 300 pounds maybe? It's heavy. It is really heavy. And every time it would smack on the ground, you would just hear boom. And just all of the houses and apartments in like a fucking 6-block radius would shake. Surprised no one called the cops. It took like 2 hours to get to my home. Because I would need to rest. Boy, was it a good workout though. Oh, especially my inner thighs. Oh my god. Because it would just be a deadlift every time. I would get down and have to get underneath it like so. Get out of here, dick. It just lifts. Push. Every single time. How did nobody call the cops? I don't know, but I'm glad they didn't. I kind of cheated because by the time we got to my street, because I did not live in Cottonwood, we rolled it the long way because I just didn't have the muscles anymore. But I felt that for a week. Oh, see, that's the fun kind of stupid that I don't really see much of nowadays. Now it's just the stupid kind of stupid. I like the fun kind of stupid where you can tell a story about it like 12 years later. I don't know, longer than that, whatever. Damn it. Be right back. Now you see, I am not used to drinking the alcohol, so I am not too familiar with the patterns that it has of foaming up, as you can see. And so just now it foamed up and spilled kind of all over the place. Oh god. Let me clean this up real quick. Well, should today be the day that I get like a surprise inspection from the managers? And everything just reeks of alcohol. No, I don't drink, I promise. Ugh. I'll be right back for one more reason. 1 second. The last I ate was 3:30, so I wanted to get more food inside me. Oh. Anyway, so yeah, that was the log story. I used the log as a mucky water to punch it. I wrapped a towel around it. Yeah. But I still punched it, and I used it kind of like a deadlift thing. Well, 3 hours ago, and I'm drinking alcohol. What are you drinking? I'm drinking two things. I finished drinking the Ming River Sichuan Baiju. Now I'm drinking Dragon's Milk. Bourbon barrel stout. Because of course I gotta be drinking the Dragon's Milk. Now I should be more careful with this. All of you alcohol drinkers disgust me! Buy more tea! So that was the log story. Oh man. I don't have many experiences like that nowadays, unfortunately. Yes, I am indeed feeling don't drink your own milk, that's gross. I'll drink my own milk and you can't tell me to stop. Why? Young man, we've been going for an hour and a half. We explained. To get a quick summary, September 9th, 10th, and 11th, 3 days I spend in celebration/mourning, remembering two people who died between those days. Teruo Chinen Sensei, and Crystal, which we'll get to in just a little bit. Let me double check my notes. I don't need to cover that, really. Okay. Go back here. So, the other person who passed away on September 11th, 2012, was another person who holds great importance to my life. The Dragon's Treasure, a haven for anime and tea lovers. Really? You can owe the existence to that? To the person who got me on the path to tea. But she wasn't just a person who got me on the path to tea. She was something a lot more than that. She was another person who wished to share a drink with me. Even though she knows that I hated it. It's just one of those things, I guess. People love to see me suffer in different ways, and you guys can see how I take alcohol. And just, I don't know, she wanted to do that. She was not opposed to alcohol. She still wanted to have a drink with me. I never got the opportunity, so every year I make up for it. That is bueno. There's only so much I can talk about Crystal, because things will get too personal. But really, the main thing you need to understand is that in terms of finding people that you can love, it's not an easy thing. And she was somebody who, for whatever reason, before I even knew her name, let alone talk to her, something about when I see her I was drawn to. And that's not an experience you really get too often, if at all. I actually have a picture of us back in high school. You guys get to see me at, when this was taken, judging my length of the hair, junior year of high school, so we would have been 16, 17, something like that. Get out of here. There we go. It's Crystal over on the left and me on the right. Look at how young I looked. No facial hair. I just began to grow the hair so you can see what it was like. This was us much younger, way back in the day. So in 2000, oh god. It would have been at the end of junior of high school, beginning of senior, somewhere around that space. She began to work at a tea shop called Gala Tea. Pull this up right here. And this is the tea shop right here, back in the now non-existent Ranhurst Mall. Here she is, right over here. I used to love the shit that she wore. And you see, they got the little water heaters back here, tea underneath. This was my first experience into drinking traditional tea. This is Sophia right here, the owner of Gala Tea. It's my first experience. I never really had just traditional tea before. So I would come to visit, not the tea shop, I didn't care about the tea shop. I came to visit her. And one day she had me try a tea. The tea she had me try, the very first one I had, if you can take a guess, Genmaicha, which is why I've named this one Crystal's Genmaicha in honor of her. The very first tea I had made me realize that there is a lot more to the flavor of this drink. And so from there, I wouldn't just go just to visit her, I also go to visit the tea. But she loved tea. And she began to teach me about it, tell me about it. She was learning herself. It wasn't like she was a master or anything. But she also had quite the love and passion for it. And so that's how things went with that. She was somebody who I was able to speak. It was a two-way speak. I was able to speak candidly with her, and she was able to speak candidly with me. So you know what I was talking before about that feeling of just something beyond the mere material, something spiritual. Like the first time I stepped into the garden dojo and experienced that something. Having that love for something that goes beyond just mere vanity, mere clout, but love for the sake of that something, that spirit behind it, and all of the spooky unknowns that go behind these ideas and these feelings. She knew about them as well, and was somebody who I could talk with about these things. She was reserved at first, but over time began to crack. When people say they have a complicated relationship, usually they're just full of other shit, and there's nothing complicated whatsoever about the relationship. Like half the damn time it's like, oh, he beats me, but he's got such a big dick. It's complicated. I don't know what you do. I'm so confused. You know, that type of stupid bullshit. But this was not like that. This was actually complicated. So we both had paths that we were walking. Mine was the martial arts, which was something I'm not gonna talk about on stream. But overall, our goals aligned in the sense of we were going to dedicate everything about us, every ounce of energy and time that we had, to those paths and those pursuits. And those paths, those pursuits, at least as we saw them at 16, 17, 18 years old, they couldn't meet, they couldn't cross. They went their own separate ways. There's nothing we could do about it. And so it would be kind of like a... I don't know how to say it. Describing it as a game would be a little bit too simplistic and childish. But I don't know what other word to... Do y'all talk still regardless of status? The reason I'm doing this is to celebrate people who have died. And she passed away in 2012. September 11th, 2012. And so we'll get to the topic of us talking. And so, as time goes on, we would almost see who would break first in these games that we will be playing, these walls that we'd be building in between. I'm sorry to say, I was the first one to break. You know, told her I liked her, I loved her, and as I found out after the fact, she did love me too. She confided that much with her mother and other people, from what I can understand. But because we had our own paths that we had to walk, she couldn't. She couldn't reciprocate. There's nice little 1 second. A picture up here on her 18th birthday. And again, that's me. Hair's getting a little bit longer now. This will be January 5th, 2007. Yeah, 2007. 18th birthday. She would hate getting picked up. She would hate the feeling of being small as she is, because she wanted to be... I don't know if there's any story that'll really do more justice than this, but one of the things I got her for one of her birthdays was I got her a battle axe. Now, some of you may be thinking, getting a woman a battle axe for her birthday? What the hell are you thinking, Teaman? What kind of insanity is this? But no. I didn't get it for me. I got it for her. Because I knew she would love it. And she did. She also had something of a warrior-esque mindset. Even if her small body did not carry it. And so here, you can kind of see, like, she is smiling through the brows just a little bit further, like, Teaman, put me down, Teaman. Not until the picture is taken. Take your time. And I would do this from time to time just to annoy her. So I guess officially, on paper, we were never a couple, but this was, things couples that semi-couples did. Little things to annoy the other one. It was still cute. Give you a bit of an idea of our relationship and the way we did things. Yeah. So might as well pull up a couple of other pictures while I'm at it. I'm not sure where this was taken. Another shot of her. This was 2010, I believe. One of my favorite pictures of her. Saw that one, this one. I saw this one earlier today, and it damn near broke me. Just the sheer elegance. This is a good indication of the type of person she was. No matter the situation, no matter what was going on, she would always, much like how I would always try to maintain a warrior's mindset, always be ready. Every time you step out, you face 10,000 enemies. And so you always got the karate mindset, always ready for battle, always ready for a fight. Even if you're not causing it, you gotta be ready for it. She tried to maintain a similar mindset of just calmness, elegance, poise, and things of that nature. And this picture of her in the kimono, I wasn't at this event, so I did not get to see it live, but I'm fairly certain if I did, I would need to be escorted out of the building. So it would just be one of those things where I would just scream, "Nope, I can't take this. That's it. We're eloping. You're bringing that kimono with you and nothing else." And she would always try and maintain that, no matter what was going on. Even if you were just sitting down watching a movie, she would just try and maintain proper posture, proper breathing, just being a proper person. She's also the one who introduced me to Lord of the Rings. I never saw it before her, and she insisted that we watch it. So we did. Fun little other stories that come from our relationship. We went to medieval times to celebrate graduating high school. And that's where I got my first job. Not to brag or anything, but when I was less fat, the medieval times people saw what I looked like, and said, "That is what we want on our team." And so they asked me if I wanted to get a job in medieval times. They were training me to be one of the knights. Which is... one of the reasons I took it is that she, I was about to say fantasize. That could be the right word, but not at the moment. She adored knights and people of that nature. You know, the brave, chivalrous, etc. type. And, you know, obviously also really enjoyed watching these men doing the stuff on the horse. So when I was asked by these men if I wanted to be one of them, romanticized, yes, romanticized the right word. When I was asked by these men, do I want to be one of the men that the person who's caught my heart romanticizes? Yeah. Yes, I do. I would like a job here. Thank you very much. Now, the unfortunate part is, what is this? Go to live chat. There we go. The unfortunate part is, one, I was fresh out of high school, and despite how much effort I put into being a better person and knowing that high school was worthless, well, mind you, this is in 2007. So all of the modern day discussions about how college is bullshit and how you don't need college and how degrees are bullshit, etc., etc., all of that conversation did not exist in 2007. My parents, before the economic crash, had enough money at this point, yes, because we've gone through the entire rung of social class from, you know, by 2007, having enough money to take me to any college I would have desired, to as low as, well, let's see how we're going to make food out of dirt. So I've experienced the entire spectrum in my life. And so even though my parents demanded I go to a college, and were willing to pay for the entire thing, holding on to my beliefs and principles and what I've seen and observed, I said, no. This is a scam, and I want nothing to do with this scam. It will especially help me in my martial arts journey. So I never went. One of the proudest things to my day. It's not even the alcohol, that's just me being retarded. But yeah, so even though I knew it was all bullshit, I tried my best to become a better person, mentally included. I was still not ready for any type of job because of just how awful school taught you stuff. So I was terrible working at medieval times, I must admit. Granted, they sucked at teaching, but the blame lies mostly on me. I gotta be honest about that. And so I only hung around for like 2 months. 60-hour work weeks, learning to ride a horse, swing the mace and the halberd, and doing all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Oh boy, it was an intense part of the life. Let's just leave it at that. Definitely left a very little time for Crystal. You know, joined this place to try and capture the heart a little bit more. Now I have no time for her. Oh, if that's not the story of my fucking life. If that's not my experience of this fucking existence to a goddamn T, I don't know what is. I'll do A so I can get to B, But I'm so focused on A, I never get to B. So, eventually I left that job. This was also the start of my MMA career. The very first fight I had was in June 2007. And it was bad because I was doing those 60-hour shifts, very physical, hard labor. Did not have enough time to really train my punches and kicks. I had 2 pulled groin muscles on each side, and I still went in there and fought in the heavyweight division, even though I could have gone down to light heavyweight if I lost enough weight. But I don't want to do that. In the martial arts, the smaller man is supposed to defeat the stronger man, the bigger man. And that's what I wanted to showcase. Because the guy I was fighting was 285 pounds. But I was able to win that one. And that was the only clean win that I had the entire time of my martial arts career, which was only lasted a year because of many economics-related reasons, let's just say. I had a couple of other fights. I had more fights with the other person not show up than I had actual fights, which is kind of depressing. But generally, losses across the board. There was one fight where a lot of bullshit happened. My hand was raised at the end of it, but the official record said the other guy won, which I have no interest in contesting that because I was still 18. The other guy was like 29, like a wrestling coach, and he went on to have a professional career. I looked him up just 2 days ago. He went like, what was it? I think 19-4-1 in his professional MMA career, which is a really good record. His last fights that he had, he won $1 million, and he had Bas Rutten as one of the commentators. And you want to talk about some kind of a weird, I don't know what the right word is, like a juxtaposition. Like that's the future I wanted. I wanted to be the MMA fighter. I wanted to be the one fighting in the cage. You know, here I am. I can barely brush my goddamn teeth without pulling a muscle. And here this guy is at like 40 years old, winning the middleweight championship, getting $1 million in the process, being honored by people like Bas Rutten, who will probably never know of my existence. He's one of the people who I really loved in the MMA sphere. One of the reasons I had so many losses was the same reason Bas Rutten lost like first 2 MMA matches, then won everything after, was that I had no grappling/ground game, at least none in a way that could be used inside of a cage. And so I joined an MMA gym to learn, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all of that stuff. And that's when my arm broke, and that's when I was told I was never going to use my right arm again. Wrestling, thank you for $5. I never knew you worked at medieval times. Yes, I wasn't good, but I worked there. But right now it's not the time to get into my failed MMA career. But yes, let me pull this up. What other stories do we have, me and Crystal? She introduced me to the music I listen to now. So that's another thing she introduced me to, the music I still listen to this day. The first band she introduced me to that I kept describing to her the type of music I wanted to listen to but couldn't find. And she helped me find it, because she listened to it already. The very first band she introduced me to was Nightwish. And then Within Temptation, which led me to Epica, which is my favorite band of all time and has been like that since more than 10 years. I don't know how long it's been. A very long time. So I owe that to her as well. Oh, that was a situation in a graduating year of high school that was... could have been a much worse scene, but it wasn't. So basically it went like this. The training for senior year graduation lasted 2 days for some stupid reason. It wasn't complicated, but they had this weird strict rule where if you missed any of the 2 days, even part of it, you could not do the graduation ceremony. For Crystal, on the first day, she went and asked one of the administrators, that's the word, where she was supposed to go. And like a bunch of idiots, they told her, just go to the library. I don't know why they fucking did that. I guess to just kind of brush her off. Maybe they didn't know she was graduating. I don't know. But she knew something was off. She felt like she, had to be somewhere else. And eventually, somebody texted her like, "Hey, where are you?" So she showed up, but wasn't there for the beginning of it. She was there for most of it, but that didn't matter to them. And they tried to say that, well, now she cannot walk down the graduation ceremony. It's one of the... It wasn't as big deal for her, but it was a very big deal for her family. And she was very big on family stuff, which eventually led to her downfall. Let's see if we get to that. And so it was one of the very few times that she cried. Take a wild guess at how Mr. Teaman took that. There needs to be a little bit more of a backstory so you guys know how the administration would have seen me being upset. I was expelled sophomore year of high school. To give an idea of how this story went, I'm going to give a too long didn't read of this whole event. There was a bully, good old-fashioned bully, who bullied me from freshman year all the way up to sophomore year. And finally, one day, the bully decided he wanted to fight me. At this point, I began my training already. And so I said, okay, let's go ahead and fight. And the week leading up to that fight, all of his shitty little friends told me they were all gonna jump me and beat the shit out of me. And so being told by all of them they're gonna jump me, I decided to bring some nunchucks to school. This is the infamous nunchuck story. A legend at my old school that lasted for years after I graduated. I'm pretty sure it's dead now, but it was a story passed around from generation to generation. So again, too long didn't read. We went to a woody area. I was very close to the school. We fought, and I broke multiple bones in the guy's body. He had to wear a metal wire to keep his teeth in. I already knocked out one tooth, chipped a couple of other teeth, and the rest of them were like ready to fall. And so I won the fight, and I was ready to go home. One of them picked up a thick old branch they found laying around the woods, and he tried to smash me over the head with it. Luckily, I did the good old-fashioned break it over my forearm like you would see in those movies. He gave one of those really stupid lines that you can't believe somebody said in real life. Like, you mess with him, you mess with all of us, type of deal. So I said, okay. And so I go into my backpack and I pull out the nunchucks. And one group of people who just there to watch the fight just started laughing. And the group that was there to jump me, they began to casually scatter. So at this point, I tried going home. But while I'm talking to this guy, the dude I beat up actually brought a 2x4 to this thing, which will be relevant both upcoming and then afterwards. So he brought a goddamn 2x4 to beat me with. And so as I leave this place and I'm trying to go home, he tries to smack me over the head with this 2x4. And the 2x4 was not in the best condition, but still I did the classic break over the arm thing. Again, it's not as amazing as it might sound. The 2x4 was not in a good condition. But kind of counts. I'll take it. But this point, I take out the nunchucks again. He backs off. And the police start to show up. Good old 2x4. I was beating with those before. Yeah, I was not looking forward to it, hence the nunchucks. So cops show up, I toss the nunchucks over like a fence or something, and one of his buddies say that I beat him with said nunchucks. Things happen, I get arrested. So the school finds out. I come in Monday. They explain we're both going to be suspended for 3 days. He comes in Tuesday. They change their minds and say, okay, no, we're both going to be suspended 4 days. He comes in Tuesday, and they say, okay, he's only going to be suspended for 3 days, and you're going to be put up for expulsion. And there was a whole thing about it, and a vote with the board, and they kept insisting it was the nunchucks that really did it, but you knew about the nunchucks. Nothing changed. What happened is that you saw what I did to him. And they kept throughout the entire proceedings trying to claim I used the nunchucks. Even though on the police report it said I did not use the nunchucks. It's healed now, but I used to have a scar. No, it's still here. It is still here. You're not going to be able to see that. They did it with me too, but for detention to suspension. What the hell did you do that got you to detention to suspension? What did mild-mannered analog drift do to get suspended? But I still have the scar of when I knocked out one of his teeth. So like they saw all that, so they took witness statements from everybody who was there, and the only 2 people out of like 50 who said I used the nunchucks was the guy I beat up and his friend who initially said it, but everybody else, including people on his side, said no, the nunchucks were not used. And so even in the police report, they said he did not use the nunchucks. But the school kept wanting to insist I did. But fuck those guys. So that happened. And since then, there was other incidents that happened with the high school. None that got me suspended, but I'm not going to go into all the details, but there was other fights in high school, and the school knew about it, and I have caused other types of problems as well. So they viewed me as something of a loose cannon, as you might want to say, I guess. I drew some stuff, I'm going to bring this up. I drew some stuff on a teacher's picture from the school paper, and someone else put the paper on her chalkboard for some reason. They suspend you for that? God, that school was fucking pathetic. I hate this! I hate all of you! Fuck this alcohol! Ah! I got assaulted because I hit a kid with a paperback. Coward didn't show up to court. Wait, with a paperback? A paperback book? That's pretty mild. So yeah, at this point, the school, because I'll keep this nice and vague and let you guys make your own assumptions on what might have happened. I have broken multiple tables at the school before I left. Multiple tables broken by my hand or foot in one occasion. So they had the idea that the Teaman is not somebody you want to push buttons with. So you made yourself a target for the school. You know, there's a certain way to put it. We can go with yes. When you word it like that, so you made yourself a target, it makes it sound like I wanted to be left alone. But at a certain point, I became just full-on battle mode with the school. They were my enemy, and I chose them as my enemy. So if anything, they made themselves a target. No, they made themselves a target after the expulsion. After the expulsion, is when I decided to really double down on fuck these guys. Because I was eventually let back in, because there was like a review or something. They said, okay, this expulsion actually went overboard. So they allowed me back in after February, 5 or 6 months. Something like that. A lot of those tables were not your fault. How dare you? They were all my fault. All under my power. Except the last one. The last one was pure accident. And I felt bad. I'll put it like this. It was graduation day and everyone was doing the graduation celebration. I accidentally broke a table, which I was not expecting to. But all the administrators did was they just begged me to leave. That's all they did. They didn't try and write up a report. They didn't want to make me pay for it. They didn't want to do anything. It was like, Teaman, just please go. Please leave, Teaman. Please go. I'm begging you. Just leave us alone. Oh, God. Fuck those assholes. Keep this man away from tables. God, I was the Bubba Ray Dudley of tables back then. Actually, wait, no, Bubba Ray came out well before that. He was in, like, early 2000s. Never mind. What, a Pisces? I thought I was Aquarius. Make up your mind, old man. So, yeah, getting back to the actual point of me saying all this. So, when the school was trying to say that she could not attend the graduation ceremony, and I saw her cry, I may or may not have kicked and thrown a few tables. Not tables. A few chairs. While screaming at the top of my lungs. And being angrier than they have ever seen. Because there's a difference between, you know, fuck you type of anger. It's like, what, teachers? What you gonna do? Little shits? I don't care. Whatever. I'm 18. You can't tell me what to do. And I am going to rip this place apart if you fuck with me! Type of anger. So I may or may not have a hand in convincing them to let her do the ceremony anyway. Because she saw the whole fucking thing anyway. There's no may, only do. Stop being cute. So that happens. That's another story of me and Crystal. I was at least partially able to get her back into the graduation ceremony, in which her family gave me a standing ovation when my name was called, which was kind of funny. You know, her family liked me because, again, if it's not obvious, I am a different type of person. I did not drink in high school. I did not go do vandalism in high school. I did other things in high school, but they were not the type that would... They were not the type of things that would damage or hurt other people. At least not ones that didn't deserve it. I liked the concept of morality before it was cool. So me and Crystal would have several adventures in our times together. Sometimes be pretty basic friendly. Sometimes we would have little fights. And other times it would be like those walls that both of us put up. Between us both, they were broken down. And all that would have been needed was just some kind of special something to happen. It never did. Certain things happened after high school. Certain people told some lies. Some evil, malicious lies about me. People who were, as mentioned before about the family being her downfall thing, part of her family. To give you an idea of what one of these people involved with these lies is like, one day at gym, I wasn't here, but a close friend of mine told me this story. One day at gym class, a gym teacher punished her by making her run laps. And so she decided the way she was going to get back at him was she was going to make a rape accusation at the teacher. And she was just saying this nonchalantly. Like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's the type of person she was. And so, for whatever reason, probably because she just didn't like me, she did not want me and Crystal to be friends or be close or anything of the sort. So she began to do the womanly thing and started to spread rumors and lies about me, saying that I have tried to make forceful sexual moves on her, and I would badmouth Crystal as well. And Crystal, unfortunately, believed it. Now, there was other things that were also kind of building up. There was a so after so long of this back and forth between me and her, I began to kind of develop this annoying tension. Might have been on her end as well. At the same time, she began to go through certain changes as well. Changes that were not in any way bad, just a shift. Like in the style of clothes that she would wear and things of that nature. And we're talking things as simple and petty as the colors of the clothes, and that's about it. Things that obviously don't matter. But when you're young and retarded, you view those changes as something big is coming because of this. And so after a certain point, I began to get a little bit anxious and bratty and mouthing off at points when I didn't really need to. And the same thing happened on her end as well. And so for the stupidest, pettiest, most unimportant, retarded reasons, certain cracks began to form. And this lying, deceiving snake decided to take advantage of it. And because Crystal was so obsessed with family, she believed her. I didn't even know about all of these until after she died. And her mother told me the whole thing. Gotta watch my tongue. After this happened, like something out of a, cliche romance movie, there was multiple times throughout the next 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 or 4 years in which we would run into each other. And one time when I was working at Steak and Shake, her and the friend who spread those lies that I didn't know about came in, and I was the server. So I still remember that day. I'll come in, I'll do my whole, server spiel. Hello, my name is the Teaman, and I'll be your server today. What can I get for you? And I'm looking down at my paper because I don't even bother looking at that point. And all of a sudden, I heard a familiar voice saying, "We know." I look up, and it was her. And it was just, happy smiles between us. Like, we realized the bullshit didn't matter. we were both so fucking stubborn we wouldn't really admit it. You know, the other person, the family member, she was there as well. Gave that usual fake smile that those type of people usually give. And there was another moment when I didn't go to college, but I spent a lot of time in the local college because all my friends were there. And so I would go there to like make plans to hang out afterwards and whatever else. And we were there with another friend who was out of town, and we were waiting by some steps. And what he would do is every time somebody walked by, he would do a very friendly hello just to see what the reaction was. You know, just like, hey, how's it going? And just seeing if they would stop, if they would talk, etc. And I would be embarrassed, just like, oh god, what are you doing? And sure enough, one of those people was Crystal. And he would do that, and then both me and her were looking at him, and then at the same time we turned and looked at each other, and it was just, oh, hey! I didn't expect to see you here. Oh no, I'm not going here. I'm just waiting for my friends. How have you been? And just, you know, that type of conversation where we both wish we could say so much more, but a goddamn stubbornness kept us from doing any more. You know, she left saying it was good seeing you again. And I agreed, and that was that. You know, there was a couple other times, but the alcohol is kind of hitting me, and my memory is getting a little bit fuzzy. It was one of those things where she would pop into my mind, yeah. But at this point, I didn't really have a concept on the finality of death. And much like the youth always think, we would think, no, we're gonna live forever. So we can take our time to do these things. And that's how I felt with her. You can feel free to think that I am lying about this next part. I can understand it, because probably 99 of 100 people would be lying when they see something like this. Just if I have been able to do enough to build up trust, believe me when I say that I don't lie about these things. On September 11th, 2012, I felt off the entire day. Just something didn't feel right. I don't know what it was. Just that day did not sit well with me. Then I get a message from one of my friends. All the message said was, hey, have you talked with Crystal at all the past few years? That's it. No context, no nothing. But when I saw that, my stomach dropped. And as the conversation went on and trying to find out what was going on through other people's Facebook posts, found out that because of a series of things that have happened, which I don't need to go into, she ended up taking her life. It was very weird how the next few months progressed from that point, where it didn't seem real. Like I heard about some fictional character in some anime I don't care about died. And as time went on, more and more and more, it would not leave my head. It would sink deeper into my gut. The feelings I would get would just get worse and worse and worse. Eventually, I would just realize just how badly everything's just gone to shit. This was also the same year that my arm broke, and I was told I would never use my right arm again, let alone ever do martial arts again. So the conversation we had at the beginning of this, just how dedicated I was to the martial arts and how it was my entire fucking existence. I was told I would never do it again. And now I was told that this person that I was able to confide in, to speak about these things with, the person who was not the only person, my best friend was also something like this, but it was different in ways hard to describe. Somebody I was able to confide in and speak with, to shake away that type of just soul deep loneliness that I had no other way of removing. Thinking that eventually things would just kind of work out. Several things would make it worse as time goes on. I've spoken with her mother. Her mother liked me. Her mother wanted us to be together. That was not a secret. Her mother insisted Crystal ask me to prom. Because she really wanted Crystal to go to prom, and she knew I was the best bet. And so Crystal asked me, which was a funny thing. Crystal is not the dancing type, or the type to usually ever try and get physically close to somebody. But on that night, she was the one who asked me to dance. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Neither did she, but we did it anyway. So Mother told me about what happened when Crystal cut off the friendship. She told me all the conversations her and Crystal had about that she did love me, just couldn't say it because, again, we were walking different paths. One of the more devastating things I found out that still keeps me awake on some nights is the weekend before it happened, Crystal told her family that she wanted to get in contact with me again. And the day that she did it, she tried to call me. The call never made it to my phone for some reason. And this was the point in my life which I would pick up every phone call. There was no scam likely thing to tell you on the thing. I would have picked up if I got it, but never made it to my phone. It's just one of those things that haunt me. I'm well aware. The logical part of me is well aware. It's a stupid what-if question that doesn't matter, that should not be asked. But there's another part of me that will not shut up about it. What if I got that call? What if I picked up? How different things have been. How different would my life have been if she was there the entire time? When my arm broke, and those worthless doctors said I was never going to use my right arm again, that everything I built up until this point with martial arts, when it was taken away, what would it have been like if she was there? I mean, that was not a good point in my life. I was going to take my life at that point. I was looking for the best building to jump off of, and I was scouting the areas and seeing which locks I could open. I was that level of ready to just end it all. Because what the fuck is the point at that point? But unless you're talking to a really good ghost, obviously it's not what happened. What would the dragon's treasure be like if she was still around? Something I found out. So, the dragon's treasure, the first time I launched it was 2010, 2011, and everything just failed. As I found out, she did the same thing around the same time, just by her own volition. So we both had the same problem. We wanted to have a business about something we loved, but did not have the knowledge or means to do it. And so we both shut down, but I opened up again in 2015. If she was still around, how would she help? I mean, you can see her. She's at the very least cute. Maybe you don't view her as beautiful as I do. Because I do know the whole eye in the beholder thing, but at a certain point, come on, guys. Like, if she was there at the booths, at the tea conventions and anime conventions, you know, with the smile that she would have, there'd be other funny things I would do to try and break her. Because while trying to keep the elegance in place, she would try not to burst out laughing or smile out of a joke. And so as part of my fun, trying to break her in that way. So one of the things I would do is I would say, hold on, wait. I would just poke it on the nose. And that is it. And then I would have my friends who come to also have tea, and I would do the same thing to them. Wait. And I would look at them all sad and just go, that's not as cute as Crystal. It's one of those things that she would just... my friends would be confused. And she would just try and fail at holding back her laughter. It's one of the few times where she just goes, okay, I admit that's really cute. Just little things like that to break her stoic nature. So what would happen if 2015 I launched it with her? You know, she would be helping. She would definitely draw on people just by her demeanor alone. You know, her knowledge exceeded mine, and I'm sure it would continue to exceed mine. Probably have a lot more creativity to go along with the stuff. You know, she'd be a major help because she would just be all in for it. And after a few years of being, you know, together, but not in that sense, would I have been able to crack enough of the wall for her to break the idea of we need to walk separate paths? Especially after I lost mine. Well, I lost it, and then I spent a good many years trying to gain it back. And truthfully, after my arm broke is when I was at my peak physical condition. And that was before my neck and my back gave out, but that's a different story. You know, if she was there to help me, would I have been able to continue working out while working at the tea shop? Would I have been able to avoid gaining the 100 pounds in a year because I could still do other things besides work 18 hours a day. What type of ideas could she have given me? Financial support? I should be the one supporting her, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm aware this person is woven into who I am. She's helped my tea business. I am well aware of that. There would not be a Dragon's Treasure if not for her. She didn't watch anime either, so I could have introduced her to anime. That would have been a fun thing. Just thinking of the shows we could have watched, seeing if any shows could have brought her to tears, broken her. It's like, you see this character dying? Yeah, makes you real sad, doesn't it? Sure would have been a fun time. So if we stop being young and playing these bullshit games, how different could have the future been? Would she be down here in Texas with me right now? Just think of how different things could have been. That Antarctica show, a place further in the universe? Yeah. That would have probably broken her. That'll be part of the games I will play. What anime can I make her cry to? There's another aspect. I was thinking about anime to make her cry, and I thought about Fullmetal Alchemist. And to give you another idea of why she was someone special to me is, I don't get to talk about much of what people consider to be politics nowadays, but most of it is not even politics. The idea of fucking massacring a small child for the sake of your ideology is not politics. But she was one of the few people when I spoke about how the bad people, I gotta try to keep this clean for YouTube, I guess. The bad people would have to permanently go away by my own hand. In Minecraft, if you can figure out what I'm trying to say here. She was one of the few people who did not try to fight me on it, did not try to make me see another way. That was one of the things she liked about me. That if I found out somebody was, let's say, a rapist, I would think that he would need to die. And she was very happy to hear that somebody else thought in the same way. That certain people can't be saved. Certain people don't deserve another chance at life. Certain people just need to be ended. And to this day, I don't get to express that opinion with anyone without having them trying to fucking push back on me. Or, hey, what about this other way? Or, hey, what if something somewhere maybe goes wrong at some point, maybe? How the fuck you people live with yourselves without tripping over... Sorry, getting needlessly emotional over this. Don't need to be. There's also a possibility that it can turn out just as it has, that the end result will be the same. Okay, maybe. Doesn't really do anything, but sure. Maybe things turn out considerably better. Considering what a fucked up shit show my life has been since 2012. Maybe no. Maybe it doesn't turn out like that. Let's please be a little bit thoughtful when we give these shitty little opinions. Oh, maybe nothing changes in your shit life. Thanks. Maybe the person you love so much does nothing for you. I'll still think about her a lot. Anytime something happens that reminds me. Occasionally she'd be in my dreams even. I think the worst moments is when I would have a dream, and should be in it, whether it be the main character or just somebody who I pass by on the side, and I wake up all groggy and discombobulated, unable to properly think. And I wake up and I think to myself, maybe I should drop all of this bullshit and get in contact with her again. Give her a call, see what she is up to. And then, however many seconds or minutes after my mind starts to properly work again, I realize, oh, I can't. I had 3-4 years to do that. And didn't do it. And there's many other things I can tell. When I started talking to her, I was actually in a really dark place myself. Because I was a previous young lady that managed to break my soul and started my journey towards being untrustworthy of that kind. And she was able to, with her own graces and kindness, able to slowly pull me out of that place. So I owe her for that as well. And again, someone I can... The rare times I can just be myself and talk about the things I want to talk about with somebody. Because without it, there's a loneliness that's just indescribable. I'm happy I was able to avoid the same fate with my best friend, who we ended up breaking contact because of reasons. But recently we've gotten back to talking together. I can't tell you how important that was to me. You know, for a person that was mentioned before, the family member, and somebody else who wasn't a family member but kind of helped out with causing the rift, if by some chance they ever see this. I just hope that they know that it doesn't matter how much time passes, what happens in my life, what type of different people they might be, that they might claim. If I ever get to the point, and I probably will get to the point, where I have enough money to make people just disappear, they'll be the first ones I'm going to test it on. I mean, they will pay for what they've done. Because there's certain things I have not talked about that they have done, including things that happened to her that brought her down a downward spiral to make her take her own life, that they did to make things even worse. Just cold, careless people. With that is why every year around this time, September 9th, 10th, and 11th, I have 3 days of mourning and celebration to remember these people who helped shape who I am today. To help remind me, if only just for a little bit, of the reasons that I do some of the things that I do, the passions that I might have, the loves that I might have, the way they have helped introduce me to things that now kind of shape who I am today. My head has gotten plenty fuzzy at this point. So I'm going to get me some more liquids that are not alcohol. And I'll be wrapping this up. Thank you all who have joined us. I'm going to be watching the VODs of this. And I hope I was able to do at least a little bit to tell you of the people who were very important in my life and who made me the man I am today. So today was the Teacast. Tomorrow we're not going to have one. So I will talk to you all later. Farewell.